Okay, so we are back to the story quest. This is called Shaken Resolve. If this makes me think that we are for sure entirely done with the Shadowbringers questline and we've entered Endwalker, then I will. The next video I make will be the Endwalker, like opening full motion video, like movie kind of sequence. But this shows me a picture of us with Grahatia, the Exarch, and it looks like we're in the Oculus, whatever it's called, his sanctuary within the Crystarium. But we'll find out. It's given to us by Tataru in the Rising Stones, in like our prime world. So we'll see. Mercy, gods, it's good to see you. I hope your being here means you've had your fill of rest. Not so much as 40 winks, truth be told. Or more than my fill was the other option. You're too selfless? That's your problem? Why am I making her? Okay. But you'll be no good to anyone if you don't take a break every once in a while. Anyway, not much has happened since your last visit. I had planned for you to meet that helper I told you about, but he refuses to answer his link pearl. I do hope he's all right. We've been exchanging messages with the Eorzean Alliance throughout, though. They say the fighting has finally stopped at the Gimlet Dark, and that the Empire show no sign of movement. Which means we might actually have a moment to ourselves for a change. Seeing as you're back, maybe you could tell me more about your time in the First. Great. And if you don't mind, I'd like to ask Philamine to join us. She'll want to know what happened to Minfilia, and I think it's best she hears it from you. We'll meet you on the terrace at the House of Splendors. The fuck is that? Have I ever been there? We'll find out. The other question is, like, how much time does the game say has passed? Because I know time is faster. Time moves slower in the Prime than it does in the First. Like, the amount of time that the first of the Scions was there was like, what, 5 to, like, was it 8 years? I don't remember how many years it was, but it was a lot of freaking years. Here's Philamine. I guess we have never met up here, but we could have flown up here anytime. There's a terrace, kind of like, it's maybe level 3 of this castle. Outside, there are tables and chairs set up, some plants and such. Mercy, my, has it been too long? Tataru did mention that I would be joining you, did she not? Yep. Thank you. Words cannot well express how I have longed to know more of the First. This world Minfilia has sacrificed so much to save. But come, rest your feet. Tataru should be arriving shortly. Cutscene. And so, Minfilia chose to pass on her gifts to the next oracle. This girl who Thancred named Reen was Tataru. To have such a burden thrust upon her as a child, only to embrace it when given the choice, says Philamine. She looks up. In that respect, they are quite alike. It would seem her legacy is indeed in capable hands. Mercy, might I ask a favor of you when you next return to the First, to tell Reen what I cannot. To tell her thank you. You nod. And I would offer her thanks to you as well for staying with her to the end. Begging your pardon, but could I have a word? Says a random voice. It's real. The captain, the pirate man, who's awesome. Real, I hope you're here to tell me you've received word from our helper. I wish. Nay, I have had not a peep out of him, and it's been a good long while too bloody long. On account of which, I'm going to sneak over the border and see if I can't get a signal. To him from closer up. But what if they catch you? There must be another way. Well, it ain't as if we can ask Thancred to do it. Besides, I shouldn't have no trouble picking me way through Gimlet Now the fighting's died down. I'm so sorry. Gods know there's enough shadows to hide in. And it beats waiting round here twiddling me thumbs. Any road, I just thought I'd let you know. Now, I'd best be... I nearly forgot. Crow's at the stones, and she wants a word. Something to do with the patients. She was getting ready to examine them again when I left. Tatara and I tilt our heads at each other. We'd best head back then. I'm sure it's important. I'm sure it's important. She waves to Philomene, and cutscene over as she leaves. Actually, let's see what Philomene says here. You needn't worry about me. Go and see what Krile has to say. Where are we going? Back into the... Yeah, back into the Rising Stones. To the Rising Stones. Oh, that's why they call me. Boom, boom, banana, bad company. Tataru's back in her spot. It seems she's still examining them. Oh, I do hope that it's nothing bad. Cutscene. Tataru and I are talking, shooting the breeze, catching up. A door opens, and Krile walks in.
You're here. Good.
Yay, voice acting. I love it. Finally. It's been a while.
So, how are they?
Still locked in slumber, but otherwise in good physical health. For the present, at least.
For the present?
Oh gosh, like every minute I'm here is like an hour there. Or something like that, I don't know.
Oh no, is something wrong with them?
I'm afraid there may be.
Ruh-roh.
I summoned you after detecting faint signs of instability in Thancred's corporeal ether. But subsequent examination suggested all 5 might be affected. And when I examined them just now, my fears were confirmed. Tellingly, the degree of instability varies between them.
Tellingly how?
Thancred exhibits the most notable signs, followed by Y'shtola and Urianger. The twins' ether, meanwhile, remains relatively stable, but there is a change there too if one knows to look for it.
Was that the order they were taken to the first? I don't remember the order.
Hold on. Isn't that the order they were called away in?
Okay, there we go.
Indeed. Which leads me to believe the instability will only increase with time. Though I can but speculate, I fear this may be a symptom of a weakening link between body and soul.
By the gods! What happens if the link is broken?
She's doing the Taru Taru panic dance, which I think is the same probably here in Final Fantasy XIV with the Lullafels.
I cannot say for certain. This is all unknown territory to us. Yet whatever happens, it cannot be good.
There are a lot of times I miss Final Fantasy XI.
Mercifully, the instability is still only slight. And you may rest assured Master Matoya and I will do everything in our power to keep it from worsening.
As I've said multiple times, in 11, like every action you took was special. Like your cast time. Honestly, Black Mage is pretty similar in some ways to what it was in 11, because your cast times are long, and every cast makes a lot of difference. Anyway, there's too much to get into. Don't worry about it.
Be that as it may, it is imperative that you find a way to restore our friends' souls to their bodies.
Okay. Leave it to me. Or no rest for the righteous, eh? No, fuck that. Leave it to me. I'm not gonna complain. Or call myself righteous. I got this.
Thank you.
They are our friends. I love them all.
But where's she even supposed to start?
I miss Papa.
We had the greatest minds in the realm hunting high and low for an answer, and they ran out of places to look.
And Moonbreeder.
You stated in your report that the Exarch had originally intended to reverse the summoning process by means of his own death, correct? Raha always was a reckless young fool, ready to die for the first righteous cause that came along.
Raha? Oh, is that your nickname for Graha? Tia? Because that's not apparent.
His plan might well have worked, but I, for one, am glad he never had the opportunity to see it through.
It's context clues.
Even if it does mean our friends must remain stranded a while longer. There is another way, I am sure of it. And the key lies with him, with the Exarch. Pray return to the First and apprise him and the others of the situation. We, meanwhile, will do what we can from here. And, if the fates are kind, we will have good news to share upon your return.
Back to the ocular. I have my teleport still there. It's actually only 300 gil, which is interesting. Maybe because in the physical distance, the crystal tower is so gosh darn close to the rising stones. That's my explanation for it anyway. I could be wrong. I'm usually wrong about all things in the world every time, every way. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's a little bit dour for me. I'll talk to the Crystarium gatekeep. Get on up and hurt. Excuse me. And here is the Crystal Exarch. It is ocular. Oculus? Ocular. There we go. Ah, Mercy, you are returned. I hope your time in the source was suitably restful. Well, but of course it wasn't. Go on. You explain. He takes a step back for a second. Their corporeal ether shows signs of instability. By the gods, the possibility never even occurred to me. If you have returned in the hope that my research has yielded a solution, I fear you will be sorely disappointed. 'Tis but a mercy we have the likes of Mistress Kryl and Master Matoya to keep our friends' bodies safe while we wrestle with the problem. But they cannot forestall the separation of body and soul indefinitely. Come, the others must be told. Cutscene? Please talk. You talked in the first part. You gotta talk again. Well, they say the second part technically, because you guessed we didn't talk when it was Philomene and Tataru. The Scions indeed enter the ocular. The twins, Y'shtola. I don't see Thancred or Reen yet, or at all actually. Alisaie starts talking. Alphino nods. Talks some. They both turn to Y'shtola. She's talking. In comes Urlian J. Wow, how did I forget about him? I'm so sorry. Still no Thancred or Reen.
Pray excuse my late arrival.
You're not the latest, so...
Will Thancred and Reen not be joining us?
Nay, milady. With apologies to all, they beg leave to pursue their investigation of the empty to its conclusion. Should matters here demand their presence, however, they did assure me that they would make themselves available.
Yes, of course. Then let us proceed.
So, fun fact. Apparently, the voice actor for the Crystal Exarch, aka Grahatia, had an offer to work, like actually physically act in another show or movie, but he wanted this is all secondhand. I'm not sure that I read everything appropriately, but he was so invested in making sure the storyline and his character, Grahatia, the Crystal Exarch, was played fully through that he turned it down, or he's doing both at the same time. Like, he made sure that if he was to act in this show or movie in person, that his schedule could also have the necessary time in order to record as the Crystal Exarch. but look it up for yourself if you're even listening.
I think it best that you begin by providing a summary of Mistress Kryle's findings.
Shit's bad. Summary over. No, we're just going. We go into our explanation. The screen pans up through the ocular, black screen, and now we're back.
I suppose it was only to be expected that some change would occur.
Yet our souls seem unaffected, to my eye at least. How long they will remain so is another question. Kryle is right. It is imperative we find a way to return to the source.
In theory, the Exarch who had the power to bring us here could also send you back, right?
Perhaps an explanation of the method by which I brought you here will yield some inspiration.
Yeah, please do.
Ere I begin, it must be noted that I am by no means a gifted mage. In order to employ powerful magics, I must rely upon the Crystal Tower and its boundless reservoirs of energy.
Okay, but you have to know how to direct those reservoirs.
The magic that summoned you was no exception. 'Tis a singular spell, adapted through painstaking effort from the technique that transported me to the first. To use an analogy, it works by cutting a hole in the fabric of reality.
Wormhole.
A hole tailored to the object of summoning, through which it and it alone may pass unscathed.
Myself being the object.
Though I succeeded in creating said hole, I failed to latch onto my intended target.
Oh.
Instead of you, the spell found those close to you, and ended up summoning them in their incomplete state. I would not soon throw my life away, not after the lengths you and yours went to save it. And so long as I breathe, I will spare no effort to see you safely home. But should all else fail, and your lives be at stake, there remains one sure method.
So you think, even though one at a time you accidentally summoned the Scions here instead of me, who was your primary target, you got those around me, those that I've worked so closely with, they're like tied to me. You got Thancred, then you got Erlion J and Y'shtola, and then you got the twins. You still think that you dying will reverse it? I don't understand. Like your willpower, your existence alone in this world is keeping us here? That doesn't make sense. There's some bad writing there, in my opinion.
Oh!
Alice flicks him in the forehead.
What was that for?
How can you even entertain such thoughts? You owe your life to the Warrior of Light, and you don't get to die unless she says so.
I love it. She's treating him like a brother.
Your followers await your divine judgment.
We're talking to me. What?
What did you just...
What? I don't have followers. What are you fucking talking about? Cat lady?
If the two of you have finished, perhaps we could return to our discussion?
Although I'm also a cat lady, so it was so weird. Yeah, anyway.
Rather than dwelling upon the multiple failed attempts at transference, I think it would behoove us to focus on the solitary success.
Myself. I can go back and forth.
I would draw your attention to the fact that our friend can travel between worlds possessed not only of her body and soul, but her personal effects besides.
Yep.
This is no different from the teleportation magics to which we are all accustomed. Magics that allow for the transportation of those inanimate objects one considers to be an extension of oneself.
Like my gear and the things that I have in my bags, I guess?
Are you suggesting that simply by considering us her possessions, she could carry our souls back to the source upon her person?
Interesting.
Well, it would be nice if things were that simple for a change.
Yeah, I don't... That would take some... Well, if I were to consider your souls my possession in such that, like that's how friendship sorta works. Like I have some kind of a tie to the souls of my dearest friends. Not a some philosophy happening
But
here.
vague notions of ownership seem a rather tenuous thing to stake our lives on. So much as a moment of doubt on her part and we'd be left floating in the rift.
Milady hath the right of it. The requisite fixity of belief would be too much to ask even of our friend.
Yeah, it's a weird concept. I get what you're saying. I get the idea behind it, but it's a weird fucking concept.
Yet were we to immure our souls within an object in her possession, mayhap then our safe passage could be assured.
So, huh.
White auricite would, I believe, serve as a suitable vessel for this purpose.
Oh, yeah, well.
It was conceived to imprison the massy soul of an Scion, and should house one of ours with relative ease.
Or all of yours? Because, like, an Scion is... I don't know.
We would need only to ensure our soul's safe preservation inside the stone, and identify a means by which they might be transferred back unto our vacant bodies.
Soul preservation and transference. I believe I know of someone who may be able to assist us.
Titania?
On the far shore of the source, there stands a great palace built by the elves.
The far shore of the source. Oh, so my land, like my home, the source. Okay. Great palace built by the elves.
It was forsaken in the wake of the flood, but a certain Numo chose to make their home there soon after.
Wait, is this the source? No. Our world is the source. This is the first, right? But there's new Mal.
Though they have long lived as a recluse, they once occupied a place of honor in Verbert's royal court, and it is said that none in all of Norvrant is more knowledgeable than they on matters of the soul.
Well, I've no objection to seeking a helping hand, but if they've gone to such lengths to hide themselves away from the world, what makes you think they'd be willing to lend us one?
A worthy question. Years ago, I myself tried and failed to solicit their cooperation in the battle against the Sin Eaters. No sooner had I begun to make my plea than they unleashed a swarm of their familiars upon me. Unlike me, however, you have curried favor with the Fae folk. By that merit alone, I am hopeful that they would grant you an audience. They may still be inclined to turn you away, of course, but if their knowledge might feasibly facilitate your return home, we have to try.
Yeah, probably do. Oh, Shaken Resolve is complete. I will take probably Tenacity. Oh, I don't have the choice for Tenacity, so... I'll take Skill Speed. No, more of my classes can do spells. I'll take Direct Hit. No. Yeah, Direct Hit, sure. I think I already have 2 of these actually in my inventory, so I'll just stack with what I have. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I have one link that is the link to my Google Drive Amazon affiliate link page with descriptions for every link. So if you find something in that link page that you think you would like to try, yeah, pretty much anything that, yeah, all of these links are, if you buy something on this page with the link that I have on the page, I'll get a small cut. It's a very small way to support the channel. I do this for fun, but it's always nice to get a little bit of, these are things that I recommend, things that I use every day and or rebuy when I run out. Like, that's literally what this page is. It's what it always has been. But yeah, I hope that you find something you like on there, and I will see you next time.